All right, so let's say you're told to graph this equation. First of all, is it growth or decay?
Decay.
Decay. No, that's growth.
Be careful. You look at the base number. The base number is the 3. So it is growth, okay? It's growth. Okay, so is there a k in this equation, this function?
No.
So what's the asymptote?
0.
0.
So let's just sketch that right on your graph. That's your asymptote. Okay? Then the first thing I want you to do is I want you to plot where x is 0 and x is 1. So you look up here into the whole function that's here, and you say if x is 0, this is going to be what number if x is 0? 1 times 1/3 is what? And then if x is 1, what's this going to become?
1.
Because 3 to the first power is 3. 3 times 1/3 is 1. Okay? So then you plot those 2 points. So let's just plot those 2 points. Something like that. Then, since there is no h and k, there is no vertical or horizontal shifting, right? We already took care of the a, right? Then you just curve from left to right because it's growth, and it passes above the asymptote and climbs to the right through the points. So it's kind of like this. Okay, that one was easy. When you don't have a calculator and there's no h and k, just find out what when x is 0 and x is 1, and then you can just sketch the graph, okay? Now, there is h and k here, so let's look at this one. First of all, is this one growth or decay?
Decay.
And how do you know it's decay? The base number with the x is between 0 and 1. That's not by the way, it's between 0 and 1. So it's decay. Okay? Hear what? No. Should I? Is it one of those high-pitched things that I'm too old to hear?
No.
It's funny because
Okay. All right. So it's decay, so that tells you it's going to do what? It's going to go down. So what's the asymptote? Hey, what's the asymptote? Y equals 1. It's based on your k. It's based on your k. Okay, so let's sketch that. K. Ha 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 ha.
So funny.
I tried. Okay, that's your asymptote. It's based on your k. All right, the basic function. Now, here's how I want you to look at the basic function, and this will help you a lot with graphing. You look at all of this without the h, and consider that your basic function. Okay, so I'm going to write real small. I know there's not a lot of room here. This is my basic function. All of that without the h and the k. Anything that does not include the h and the k is your basic function. Now, with this basic function, I'm going to find out what 0 and 1 are. So if I plug in 0, what am I going to get? 2. Basic points. These are basic points before my vertical and horizontal shifting, not including a, okay? Then I plug in 1. 1/3 times 2 is what? 2/3. I'm plugging it to my basic function, and this is the easiest way to graph these without a calculator. So I'm teaching you this way. It's a little bit different than we did in the last chapter with a. You consider it as part of your basic function. All right, so let's talk about what is happening to this basic function. What are the translations? Is there a horizontal translation?
Yeah.
It's going which way? Right to. And then what's the other one? Up 1. Okay, so if I plot these 2 points, let's plot our basic points, and then we'll shift those points to get our new points. It's really easy. So if you plot your basic points, 0, 2, and 1 and 2/3, these are the basic points before the shifting. And that's why it's below the asymptote. Okay? Then you just can take these points and go right to up 1, and what would my new one be? Right here, correct? Right 2, up 1. And then this one would be right 2, up 1, which would be about here. Since it's decay, how's it going to go? From left to right down. Is there a negative here? No. So we don't need to worry about that. So it's going to look like this. Now, we can also come up with those new points. If we don't remember to shift it right on the graph, we don't feel like plotting these, you can just say to yourself, okay, if it goes right 2, that means I have to add 2 to my x coordinates, correct? I'm going to add 2 to my x coordinates because that's what this causes, right? It's right 2. Add 2 to your x coordinates. And then what do you do to your y coordinates? Add 1, okay? So 2 plus 1 is 3. 2/3 plus 1. You can do it in your head. You're in advanced algebra 2 now. 5/3. If you can't do it in your head, it's 2/3 plus 3/3. Correct? 5/3. And look, does that correlate with what I have here? Over 2, up 3? Over 3, yeah. So it's pretty easy to graph without a calculator. And you get to practice that right now. I would suggest doing this whole worksheet without a calculator.